what's up y'all? My name is Chris Abbott, but all my friends just call me Abbo. And in this video, we're gonna be breaking down how to use social media for church growth. And I'll even introduce you to a 4-part system that a friend of mine used to take his church from 350 to 800 in only 4 weeks. Coming up. Hey, what's up y'all? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new around here, we are dedicated to helping pastors and church leaders be more effective and use practical strategies in order to reach new people for Jesus. So we love to find new ways of using kind of a ministry first technique in order to reach people. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about in today's video. So we're going to be laying out kind of a 4-part blueprint that multiple churches have used in order to grow their church in a short amount of time, right? And the reason this works is because we're connecting with people on an emotional level, right? And we're inviting them out to church where we can actually do ministry and connect with them. In fact, a friend of mine actually used this when he was doing a grand opening at his church, right? And went from 350 to 800 in only 4 weeks. A church plant down in Florida actually used this exact technique and went from 0 to 200 in only 5 months. And I actually used this at my own church, and we were able to get over 400 new guests in only 4 months. So let's dive in. All right, so step 1 is you want to create a targeted Facebook ad, and I recommend running this on both Facebook and Instagram. Now, if you didn't already know this, Facebook owns Instagram, and so the cool thing is whenever you set up a Facebook ad, you can actually also run it on Instagram at no additional charge, right? So it always makes sense to run this on Facebook and Instagram, and then Facebook's algorithm is so powerful, they'll literally figure out where people are clicking on it the most and where it's being the most effective, and they'll tend to start to move your budget towards that. You want Facebook's algorithm to do its thing and to do all the heavy lifting for you. So all you have to do is choose automatic placements, and then Facebook's automatically going to show your ad on Facebook, Instagram, on the Audience Network, and inside of Facebook Messenger. So let's let their algorithm do what it was designed to do all the heavy lifting for us, and let's run it on Facebook and Instagram using automatic placements. So here's the cool thing. There are over 2.7 billion people on Facebook, and the average time spent per day is 38 minutes. Right, so think about that. If there was a place in your city where every single person went to in your town for at least 38 minutes a day, all you would do is set up shop there and invite people to church, right? So if there was a town square or a gas station or a grocery store, right, and for whatever reason, every single person in town went there for 38 minutes a day, well, that's all you'd have to do is you would just show up there every day inviting people to church. You actually have that exact opportunity with Facebook, right? So it's just too big of an opportunity to miss. So I think that every single church needs to be showing up on Facebook, but we need to look at it a little bit differently. And instead of looking at Facebook as an announcement platform, right, or a place for us to share our opinions, we need to look at it as a missions field. We need to reach people where they are. And right now, their attention is on Facebook. So we need to show up on Facebook and by extension, Instagram, and we need to be doing ministry and inviting people to church. And the cheapest and most effective way to do that right now is with simple targeted ads on Facebook and Instagram. All right, number 2 is you need to set up a landing page on your website. Now, I've had people ask me, hey, so Abba, what's the difference between a landing page and a homepage, right? Well, your homepage is kind of where you have kind of a hodgepodge of everything that's going on at your church. You might be introducing them to your church and your mission statement, and you might be talking about your small groups or maybe even your set list, or right, you might have a bunch of different things that you're talking about on your homepage. But on a landing page, you're only talking about one thing, right? So there's a principle in copywriting that if you say more than one thing, you say nothing at all. So what you need to do is you want to set up a landing page, specifically a plan your visit landing page, right? And this should basically be like a coffee shop invite to your church. So if you met someone in a coffee shop and you're inviting them out to church, what are the things that you would say? You'd probably have your location and service times. You'd say, oh yeah, we're at 71st and Aspen. We meet every Sunday at 10 o'clock. We're actually in the old Lowe's building, and we're super informal, right? You can just, wear whatever you want. Jeans and a t-shirt is fine. Man, we're just kind of laid back, friendly atmosphere, and it's a lot of people just having a great time. So what you would do is you would show pictures of that in order to communicate that, right? So you don't necessarily need to tell people that it's very casual. casual. If you have pictures of people in jeans and t-shirts, right, especially people laughing, lots of young people and kids, right, then that's exactly what you're going to attract. So kind of a rule of thumb on your landing page and also on social media in general is that people click on themselves. Right? So if you're trying to attract young families, then you need to have a bunch of pictures of young families. If you're trying to be kind of multi-ethnic and you really want to have a lot more color in your church, then you need to put out pictures of multi-ethnic. In fact, I know of a church that was predominantly African-American, right? But the pastor looked around and said, man, this isn't the vision that I see. I want our church to look like heaven, right? We want white people and black people and brown people. And so he just said, okay, here's what we're going to do is we're going to start putting this out onto social media, and we're going to be very, very intentional about putting out what we want to bring in. So what they did is they had like one white family in the entire church, but they made sure that that family was in all their Instagram photos, was in all the posts they put out on Facebook, was in all the pictures they put on the website, right? And then they would make sure, okay, now we've got some Latino families, and they start to put those in there. And they said, okay, now we've got some Asian families, and they started to do that. And what happened is people started to click on themselves. And so the more pictures they put out of this view of heaven that they saw, then the more they attracted those types of demographics, right? So this is a great way in order to kind of branch out and to create more of a multi-ethnic church if you're predominantly reaching one race. And this worked really, really well from them. They've actually got one of the fastest growing churches in the nation now. And a lot of it started because they said, man, we want to create a church that looks like heaven. And so they started on social media. All right, so on your landing page, you simply want to invite people to church, and you want to have the same call to action over and over and over again, and that is plan your visit now, right? So you want to have pictures of people that you're trying to attract to the church. You want to have information about the church, but you want to use bite-sized bits of information like headlines, subheaders, bullet points, right? And you just want to invite people to church, and the same call to action over and over and over again is going to be plan your visit now. I found that landing pages that have at least 4 or 5 plan your visit buttons usually convert the best. And it's a great idea to even have a couple of sermons on there so people can test drive a sermon, have a chance to listen to your preaching style, and kind of see what a service looks like. And then they have the opportunity to click on a plan your visit button and actually sign up and schedule an appointment to visit your church on Sunday. All right, so step number 3 is plan your visit, right? So what do you do once someone clicks on a Facebook ad, they go to your landing page, and then they sign up for plan your visit? Well, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you call them within 15 minutes, right? So you think about the psychology of somebody who is interested in visiting your church. They go to your landing page, they're learning more about your church, and they say, yeah, you know what? I want to visit this church on Sunday. So they actually schedule an appointment. They give you their name, email, and phone number, but then they don't hear anything from you. They're going to start to question and say, man, I signed up for that plan your visit thing. Like, I wonder, man, did anybody at the church see that? Is the pastor checking the inbox? Oh man, did they look me up on social media and they can see that my life isn't like cleaned up enough to go to their church, right? Then they start experiencing rejection and they don't show up on Sunday, right? So it's really important for you to call the plan your visits within 15 minutes. Right? And what I do is I exercise a 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. window. Meaning, if they sign up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you don't have to call them at 3 a.m. Right? Nobody expects you to be awake. Nobody expects you to call them at 3 a.m. Right? But if it happens between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., call them within 15 minutes. If it happens after 9 p.m., just wait until 9 a.m. the next day, and then you can give them a call. But all you want to do is just introduce yourself, right? Answer any questions they might have, and then let them know you can't wait to meet them on Sunday. Right? This is just kind of a personal connection. And we actually found that when we started doing this, we actually ended up taking our show up rate from 50% all the way up to 75%, just because we connected with them within 15 minutes of them signing up for Plan Your Visit. Now, another best practice is to make sure that you send a reminder text on Saturday afternoon, right? Because what happens if someone signs up for Plan Your Visit on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? A lot of things happen, a lot of life happens by the time Sunday rolls around, and they might just forget that they signed up. So if you send them a reminder text sometime around Saturday afternoon or early Saturday evening, right? Just saying something like, hey, John, this is Pastor Chris. Super excited to meet you tomorrow. Can't wait to see you, right? See you at 10 o'clock. All right, just something real basic like that. It's just a reminder that they signed up for Plan Your Visit, that they're planning on coming to church, and that you actually remember them and you're looking forward to meeting them. So now if they wake up and their alarm didn't go off, or they have a flat tire or something happens, they're literally thinking to themselves, shoot, Pastor Chris is waiting for me. I can't just sleep in, right? And they're going to do everything they can in order to get to church. So this will help your show up rate quite a bit. Just make sure that you are calling the Plan Your Visits within 15 minutes, and then make sure that you're sending a reminder text Saturday afternoon. Okay, and then finally, step number 4 is you want to plug them into a 12-week follow-up system. Now, my favorite way to do this is with something like Text in Church, right? I absolutely love the system that they have built. The cool thing is you can actually use Text in Church for Plan Your Visit also, and you can use it for your follow-up system. I recommend creating a 12-week 12-week follow-up system just because the average person in the US only goes to church 1.2 times per month, right? So if they show up to church, all right, there's probably a lot of life that's going to happen. There's a lot of things that are going to get in the way. I mean, think about how busy you are. Think about how busy people are right now. So they might show up to church on Sunday, but then the next week, right, their kids might have a soccer tournament, and then the weekend after that, they might have a cheerleading competition. Then the weekend after that, one of the kids woke up and they had pink eye, right? And then the weekend after that, they were out of town for a business meeting, right? So what happens is there's a lot of things that can come up. So you need to continue to follow up with them for an extended period of time. A lot of churches will do 6 weeks. I like to extend that all the way out to 12 weeks so that you're following up with them for at least 3 months to get them back in the door. Again, Text and Church is my favorite way to do this. You can create this through a lot of different solutions, but Text and Church is my personal favorite. So you can actually click on the link in the description below and you can try Text and Church out for free if you'd like. You can actually try it out free for 3 months. So you can play around with their plan your visit option. You can play around with some of the follow-up systems, right? But the best thing is that this is going to be completely automated and it's going to follow up with people for 3 months using a strategic mix of text messages, email, and personal phone calls. Okay, so if you like this video and you want to learn more about strategies like this on social media and technology, I recommend jumping into the Church Marketers Facebook group on Facebook. I'm one of the admins in there along with Ryan Wakefield from Church Marketing University and several other pastors and church leaders from all over the world. And we have an ongoing conversation about how we can reach more people for Jesus. So click on the link in the description below or simply go to Facebook, type it in Church Marketers, and we'll see you inside the Facebook group.